hello, everybody. Welcome to Carly's Couch, but on my first episode off the couch, and I have a very special guest to my left and your right. This is Tony Jolly of Aura Cafe.
Hello, hello, hello.
When I first started thinking about getting off the couch, Tony is a perfect example of somebody that I wanted to talk to, wanted to hear his story, hear about the amazing work that he's doing in the community, and also learn how he's trying to help everybody. Because he has such an amazing space. But we'll get into that. How you doing today, Tony?
I'm good. It's a little overcast out here, but it feels really great. Christmas time here in LA.
This is Christmas time in LA. And you said good. What kind of good or what kind of good are you doing to?
I'm feeling great about decisions. And sometimes when you as an entrepreneur and as a dad and just you have to make a lot of decisions, you don't feel too good about it. But I'm feeling great about decisions that we've made.
Oh, I like to hear. I'd actually like to hear more about that. What's one of the decisions that you're feeling really settled and great about right now?
Well, I run my business with my heart on my sleeve, and I evolved into this social entrepreneur. And it's the antithesis of capitalism, so to speak. And we decided to invest in human capital.
Ooh.
And it's challenging. The capital side, isn't as vibrant. There is a sacrifice when you invest in human capital. But I had a conversation with an individual, and he made me realize the importance of me doubling down on that because making an impact in somebody's life it's just so much value, unseen value on that, and I'm happy that we decided to do that.
Yeah. When you say social entrepreneur, for those people who don't know what that means, what does that mean?
But our business is dedicated to serving the community, serving community members. We don't look at people who come and buy our coffee as customers. We look at them as more as partners. We look more as like we have the resources to service you, even if through a cup of coffee, through a cafe aesthetic. And so every decision that we make for our business, the community is a part of that decision. And so I think that makes us a social enterprise, so to speak.
Absolutely. I think that that's so important. I don't know if you know anything about my story because I've known Tony for years. When we first started Change the Tune, he gave us free space in Hot and Cool Cafe, right? Which is now Aura, but he's been investing in the community for years because we started Change the Tune 8 years ago. And he would give us free space, free snacks for the kids. And as a beginning nonprofit, that is so important because nobody's given opportunities like that. Like we want to help kids, but we don't have a space to help kids. We don't have food to help kids. We didn't have money to help kids. And so I think it's so special to highlight social entrepreneurship. I used to be an engineer in construction,
Oh, I had no idea.
and my last project was Dallas Fort Worth International Airport.
Oh, wait, that's a quite the project.
It was a $1 billion project, and it was terminal renovations and bringing a train in to help North Dallas commute, doing jet bridges and parking garages. And in theory, it sounds good because like you have idea, you draw it down, I can help you build it. That sounds beautiful. But then every day, I'm just making rich white people richer. And I was like not happy with my life at that. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to make money and I want to help people. And I don't know how to do that. So I moved to LA, went to USC for business school. That's what brought me out here.
Get out of here.
Yep. And then when
Met you. Hey.
it was nice to meet you, T. Hmm. But when I told them, I was like, hey, I want to make money and help people. They were like, oh, we don't know how to do that. But you can be in consulting, but go do this. And I'm like, what? No. So all of that to say, I've been working for the last 8 years trying to become a social entrepreneur.
Wow. Wow. I've known you for 8 years, and I finally hear the story.
Yeah, which is like nice, but I think that that's another reason I want to talk to you because it's like you see people help you, you invest a lot in the community, but it's a lot of in passing. And so I really wanted to dive into your story. So we kind of jumped into you being a dad and you being a social entrepreneur, feeling good about decisions, but what got you into coffee?
That's a great question. Many moons ago, well, oh, 30 years ago, I'm originally from DC.
Okay, I didn't know that. I
Okay.
put some go-go on.
Oh my God, don't do that. I might be my feet. And my boy was working at Starbucks. They just started making the East Coast migration. And he was like, dude, you're not doing nothing. We need to kind of like get off the streets a little bit. And I was like, you're right. Streets are hot. And so He's like, I'm working, managing a Starbucks downtown across the street from a courthouse in DC. So I went there and I was just amazed by the introduction of the culture of coffee that was happening right then in about 1995, so to speak. And so they didn't have many on the East Coast. This was one of few. Once I started working there after rigorous training, getting to know Starbucks language like decaf tall skin latte, Ice Grande mocha, we went and they placed us in these settings of these retail locations, and we were kind of like rock stars because it's just the first time, that region has embarked on Starbucks culture. But also, I saw community. Being across the street from a courthouse, I saw lawyers every day, right? I got to be at their cases, the parents with their kids, and it's a form of community that I loved every day going into, knowing that I want to see these spaces and I able to serve them, this jet fuel that'll help them get through their day. And also the coffee tastes pretty good at that time.
Back in the day.
Back in the Ethiopian Harar was like berries and the Sulawesi from Indonesia was buttery and I was all caffeinated and geeked up. So that's when I fell love. Uh yeah, and then years later I moved to Denver. Met my wife in DC, followed her to Colorado.
Amazing.
Reluctant, was the best decision I ever made in my life. And in Colorado, I sank my teeth a little bit deeper in specialty coffee.
Okay. So transition from DC to Denver, you sank your teeth in the coffee. What does that mean? Did you open a spot up there? Or did you learn how to roast out there?
That's funny because I ended up working at a specialty coffee shop. The third wave of coffee was happening. Latte art and the boutique coffee shop started. Boulder and Denver would be surprised. It's like one of the forefathers of this wave. And
Oh wow.
and I met a group and they were working in Ethiopia exclusively
It's amazing.
doing post-harvest development, like working with farmers, increasing the quality and the capacity of the coffee bean at the farm level. And I went to help them out to lift some coffee bags out of a truck, and they gave me a cup of coffee that tastes like blueberries.
Oh, that's
I was like, "Holy cow, where do I start?"
what
So I interned with them for a year,
amazing.
and they taught me the ins and out of analyzing coffee from the buyer side. They helped me realize that my palate was my superpower. That I taste notes, I can taste body, I can taste acidity, where normal people be like, "Well, it just tastes like coffee."
Listen, so that was gonna be my next question. Sorry to interrupt, but you were talking about, blueberries and the acidity. Is the average person's palate not that informed or not able to taste that? Or is it something you can learn, kind of like a sommelier? Like you sound like a coffee sommelier, whatever the version of that is. Is that something that a regular person can learn?
Yeah, I think coffee has evolved from instant coffee, Maxwell House, Folgers, best part of waking up, and being brewed on a typical Mr. Coffee, sitting on your counter, and the heat from that machine is baking the coffee that causes bitterness. And so our introduction to home coffee was a bitter.
Was nasty.
It was, and
It hurt.
roasting wasn't really a thing back then. People would just burn it, roast it, turn it black, add your cream and sugar out the door. But the third wave brought in more detailed roast profiling. Roasting coffee is a little bit lighter. And as you roast the coffee a little bit lighter and take the char off it, the natural flavors of that coffee bean will come out. Varietals, I'm about to get real geeky right there. But varietals at origin, Ethiopia has the most varietals in the world.
Oh,
So, place.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. It's my favorite too. Anytime I go anywhere and do the little coffee flight or pour over, the Ethiopian is always my favorite.
And so those coffees, those distinct varietals, if roasted right, it will bring forth like evident flavor. Like you can't even miss the fruit flavors. You can't miss the chocolate. And so this third wave of coffee allowed the evolution of the coffee drinker to experience coffee on another level. And so it starts at the farm, and it starts with the roaster, and it starts with the barista, um, to kind of like navigate this coffee bean to be able for the novice drinker to be able to identify.
Salty listeners. Okay. Okay, it's coming together, but I love coffee, and so I was also just excited about that. Also being an entrepreneur and living in LA, with traffic, I frequent coffee shops. Like when I'm driving somewhere and I'm like, oh, I got an extra hour, I'm gonna go sit here, I'm gonna try this new coffee, but also to support local business.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. We love you. Let's see.
And always leaving reviews, but thank you for creating, spaces where people can feel like home. As technology goes forward and all this stuff happens, like people need spaces to work. Not everybody has an office, especially in LA. People are slashers. They got 12 jobs and they need somewhere to go sit for a little bit. And so thank you, for creating a space where people can come, be together.
Yeah. I mean, human capital once again. I think even before COVID, but post COVID, particularly like human connectivity is everything, and especially in the age of the you don't have to actually go out and interact with human beings. I mean, it's unhealthy, and so being able to provide a space where people can come and participate in human connectivity is extremely important. I think today more than any era of humanity. So
Yeah,
I hope we're doing the right thing.
you absolutely are. Okay, so creating these spaces for people, you interned with the people and learned about the Ethiopian coffee. You learned that you have a very powerful palate and that's your superpower. How did that transition into what became hot and cool and is now Aura?
Okay. So once they identified that I had the superpower and confirmed it, they sent me to Ethiopia to procure.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so I lived there for a year,
Oh my God.
and that's where my kind of whole life changed. Personal coffee life, business life, just living there, being amongst the humble, being amongst that culture, getting outside of American culture. There I started to kind of create a path for my own entrepreneurial goals. I eventually left that company and I stayed in Ethiopia to make relationships. And I started importing coffee and selling it to coffee roasters.
Amazing.
Um, and so at that time, as we were moving, I think that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial path. Importer, coffee producer, and we imported a coffee that didn't perform well when it landed. And in my mind, considering I had access to the coffee, that I can create other verticals like roasted coffee to sell to coffee shops and hotels and grocery stores, and then the third vertical, a coffee shop, right? So it'd be like from crop to cup model. And so I had 20,000 pounds that I could not sell,
That is crazy.
and I started roasting it. I didn't know how to sell roasted coffee. So I moved from Denver to San Jose, and in San Jose, every Sunday I would go roast hundreds of pounds of coffee and put it in my garage.
Sick.
It was a co-roasting space in Berkeley. Just rented 3 hours a day, went down there, just roasted a ton of coffee, just trying to figure out how to sell it. So I recently went to a coffee conference in Seattle.
That
Yep.
makes sense.
Jumped off the plane, went to my rental car place. The rental car attendant looked at me and was like, what you doing here? There's no black people at this convention. He's right. We don't not represent it, even though all coffee is grown in
Bro,
brown countries.
literally, which is crazy, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I was like, I'm here. And he was like, well, I got a buddy that wants to open up a coffee shop in LA. I was like, I go to LA. He gave me his number. I lost it. Year later, I find it. I crept back. I drive from San Jose to LA, bring it to Leimert Park. There was nothing going on here.
not.
My building was abandoned. It's a meth encampment in the back.
Oh my gosh.
And it was desolate. And I drove back to San Jose, slightly disappointed. But I knew I had to get this coffee off. And so I called my mentor, and he was like, I need you to go to LA and be an example of a black entrepreneur, great business that young black people don't see.
That's amazing.
And so that's how I got to Leimert Park. Pretty much obedience.
But also synchronicity because you lost the number, but then you found it and it was right on time.
And I had bad coffee that I couldn't sell and only sold good if I roasted it. So I was just navigated here divinely.
It always is, and I think when you're following your purpose, like when you step outside of the rat race, like we talked about capitalism a little bit before this, and jobs and wanting to pay bills and all that stuff. But when you really tune in and are aligned to the higher power, to your higher self, like things just line up like that. Like the person who's like, oh, by the way, I want to open a coffee shop in Lamert when wasn't nothing cracking, but now all of it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to see. Yeah, and that leads us outside to this cart. While I was building Leimert Park, Hot and Cool in Leimert Park, My mentor was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "Well, I'm waiting for the coffee shop to be built." He was like, "Well, you need to do something. Go outside and sell coffee." So I bought a coffee cart, not similar to this. It was a bike.
Oh, that's
And Carly, I took that bike, I put on a tie and an apron and a hat. And I was living in Leimert Park at the time. And I rode this bike in the middle of Crenshaw Boulevard.
and this was before Hot and Cool opened.
Yep.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that.
The car was called Jolly Beans after Tony Jolly.
I say his last name is Jolly. Perfect season. Do you get a lot of Jolly jokes?
Oh my God, since kindergarten. Some of them are like, they explicit. So yeah, I went to the corner of Crenshaw and Exposition here in South LA, South Central, start selling coffee, and when people were nuts. And while I was there, I was like, this would be a great job for previous incarcerated individual
Uh,
serve you. So Hot and Cool opened, and it took all my time, but this idea of a coffee cart kind of still simmered in the back of my mind of being able to execute one day.
And so I was reading on the website and also have been to many events at Hot and Cool, and then you closed and reopened as Aura and have been to events and been in the space a lot. And I know that you prize community and giving opportunities. But when you envision the carts, you mentioned youth and people formerly incarcerated. Like, what does that success look like? Like, if it worked out exactly how you wanted it to, how would it look?
It's a great question. I mean, success for this will get individuals who typically don't have an opportunity to grow in the workplace to be able to be a part of something that can take pride. And hope is everything. And when you come from impoverished communities or you don't have opportunities, it's hard to get up and have hope and use that hope to drive you to accomplish goals. And it's like once somebody believes in you, and once you have hope, then I believe that that person will run through a brick wall. And so this is something that we want to move into a social entrepreneurial pathway where people can own the cart, franchise it, own it. It'd be their own small business. We'll fund it. We'll train them. And then they have something within this quick service restaurant industry, QSRs, like the Starbuckses or the Taco Bells or the donuts, where they don't have to work there, just be a cog in the system, but they actually can have an opportunity to run the system.
Oh, that's amazing. And helping funding and training them. So, when are you planning on launching, or what does soft launching look like?
Well, we're here at Leimert Park Station. Another guy that's one live, Leimert Park Village Inc., who worked with Metro to get a grant to start the pilot program.
Amazing.
It's been going on for 3 months. It's been highly successful.
Congratulations.
So we are in the works, all things crossed, inshallah, to be able to work with Metro in the city,
Yes.
deploy 5 to 10 carts before the World Cup in 2026.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be all the way up before the Olympics.
Yeah. And so we want to kind of grow to the Olympics and also have these carts be a hospitality point for the city. So tourists come as they navigate it to take the Metro, that the person here, the barista, can be like, hey, welcome to Leimert Park. I give history on Leimert Park and the rectory and like, hey, over there is Aura, and you can find the bookstore and here's some of the history of our beautiful neighborhood.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So they're not only like coffee guides,
The concierge.
but the concierge to the community,
Mhm.
which is huge, especially, in LA where so many people are moving here that the history can get like lost.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, that is what we're doing. Um Aura is Hot and Cool transitioned into Aura after a renovation that was granted to us by a friend of the cafe who wanted to see this place do better, look better, evolve.
And if y'all haven't been, it's beautiful. So I'll make sure to tag everything so y'all can come support. My favorite is the oat latte. What's your favorite drink that y'all serve?
Oh, it's gotta be the sinful latte. It's a cinnamon vanilla latte. Uh
Almost got them.
yeah, yeah,
Told me.
yeah, it
Next time.
works. It works.
Next time. You said coffee changed your life. What has it taught you? Like this process of learning about your palate, of opening up doors. Like, what do you think are some things that it taught you about you as an individual?
Um I think that this whole path has taught me the importance of following a vision or dream despite how it looks around you, despite the barriers, despite the lack of funding.
Baby.
But
It's hard out here.
if if God puts something on your heart and it aligns, um, I believe it's important to go after it, and not make excuses. And with that comes the journey of trials and tribulations, but it's all growth. It taught me how to be human, like the human connectivity of a coffee shop and people and serving people taught me how to properly be human, understand how to be human, how to have empathy, how to know that we all have something in common, some way, somehow. Um, yeah, it taught me how to be a better person for real. I mean, yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I think one of my last couple questions is what keeps you going? Because it is hard. It can be daunting. I mean, there was a whole pandemic, the lack of funding. What keeps you showing up?
It's funny. I was a couple of times I wanted to quit and get a job and send my resume out and work for Pete's Coffee or go back to Starbucks. Hey, you need executive. Remember me? Hey, 30 years ago, I was your guy.
What's
And I was even headhunted to
I bet they trying to post you for real.
to run a coffee business, and I think that I just could not give up on what we started, and it felt like the contribution that we have to contribute to community and people. The job is not over yet, and I've made a pledge to do it,
Yeah.
and it felt uncomfortable once I started to move away from that pledge. And when I do want to quit and go get a job or do something else, I really think about what it is and where it is, and it doesn't feel right. Yeah,
I think that's important to listen to your intuition. That requires a level of like knowing yourself and knowing like, oh, this feels kind of like I feel out of alignment when I'm not in this space.
yeah, it's hard because when we live in a capitalist society, and you know, if this road is the harder road of creating jobs, not only for people but for yourself and your family, it's easier to go work for somebody else and fulfill their dreams.
Harder to fulfill yours, but much more worth it.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed. I can sleep at night.
Exactly. And also be excited to get up in the morning. That's why I tell people they're like, oh, once you find what you love, you'll never work. I was like, that's a lie. And I want y'all to hold that because that's a big lie, big bold-faced lie. But at least you'll feel fulfilled.
Yeah,
And I think that's the harder piece.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so he said, if people how can people support you? Is there anything that you're looking for in regards to the cards, in regards to Aura?
Well, as you know, we started off at Hot and Cool, and we transitioned Hot and Cool to a foundation. And so the foundation is going to be doing the training for the coffee, culinary training, the people in Aura, or within other rest of our friends that we have in LA to provide a job pathway. And so the Hot and Cool Foundation.org is going to be like the crux and the heart of what we do at the Crenshaw Coffee Carts. Any opportunity for us to partner, to do business, to be a coffee provider, you know, anyone who has the capabilities. I know it's tough out here, that wants to adopt a cart and contribute to one of these carts in the hands of one of our previous incarcerated citizens, one of our underserved youth. We're open to part of it, grow this thing and provide these opportunities.
Amazing. So y'all heard them hotandcoolfoundation.org.
Yep.
Donate, support, come check out Aura, come to the Lamar Park station of the Metro, to a
Coming to a metro near
cafecito,
you.
come to a Metro near you. Not Jolly Beans, but Crenshaw Coffee. What do we call coffee carts?
Yep.
Crenshaw Coffee Carts. And this is roasted in, like around the corner.
Lost it in LA, yeah.
Roasted in LA. Roasted in South Central, Crenshaw Coffee. Thank y'all for hanging out with me and Tony, Mr. Tony Jolly over here. Shout out to Tony.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, but go follow, go support. Thanks, y'all.
Peace.